Hi, Henno. Welcome back to our series of inspiring stories.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi. So I was wondering, culture work often is a complex journey. So is it then better to go for a more structured approach or just go with the energy?
Yeah, right. So, I would love to say go with the energy, but there will always be people who say, but what's your plan? And so I found out it is good to try to have structure on a very, very high level. And there are definitely many, many roads that lead to Rome. However, I feel that in culture, it's actually always 4 steps or phases or blocks that you could think about and via which you can give your interventions structure. So first of all, it's about defining culture in a way of, for instance, describing leadership style or describing a set of values or your company purpose or a behavior brand or competencies, mindset, way of working. So defining the culture that you would like to have to be strategically successful. Second step, second phase, second block, activating that aspired culture. Third block, measuring. So making sure that all the energy in time and in money invested in this program really led to a different behavior and that new behavior to new performance. And last but not least, making sure that people start to live the new culture. So define, activate, measure, live. Those are 4 blocks that help you to structure a culture program on a very high level.
Okay, and with this structure, how do you then create the roadmap?
Well, what we are doing since a couple of years and which is working quite well is that we per step or per block or per phase, we create little cards of tools that we used in the past within this phase. Since it is impossible for an external to define exactly, so what worked in company A doesn't work in company B, or what worked yesterday doesn't need to work today. So what you need as an expert, as an external to come in is to give options, and we prefer to give 5 to 10 options per phase. And together with some of the key stakeholders, you try to define, okay, which of these different approaches within a specific step would fit best in the context of this company, and when in time would that preferably then this intervention be implemented or be run. And that is how you create a roadmap over the 4 steps and over, for instance, 4 quarters.
Okay, and I heard you mention key stakeholders. Who are these people that we need to have for the input or like facilitate a discussion around the roadmap?
Right. So I think in general, it's always good to have as key stakeholders HR and comms. Most of the time internal comms, most of the time maybe leadership development from HR or someone from employee engagement or the employer branding or maybe a culture officer. Plus, extremely important, the person that is incorporating the change. So either a CEO when it's a transformation for the whole company or when it's about a merger, maybe someone from strategy when it's about a very disruptive strategy for which you definitely need a new behavior. The person that is incorporating the change. Plus, I always like to advise that people join that will be part of the project team afterwards, since you cannot run this as experts only, obviously. So we always advise to go 50-50. So for instance, if the company wants to invest 5 days a week on this topic, then I advise the company to maximize the work with an external team of 5 days a week as well.
Okay. Well, sounds like a great start of the journey then.
I
Thank
hope.
you.
Bye-bye.
I hope so too. Bye.
See you next week. Thank you.